everyone, and welcome to the round two match from this week's Battle for Asgard. Right now, we've got Blitz and Randoms on the Order side, and Team Aces on the Chaos side. I'm still here with Serial.
How's it going, everybody? Yeah, it looks like we're going to have a first pick Terra, which is a great pick right now after the buffs that have been put onto her ultimate ability, which allows her to heal her team as well as do a significant amount of damage to the enemies who are near her.
Yes, and Thoth and Hachiman going to be the first two picks here for Team Aces. Kind of surprised here that they're not going for the Giannis pick. They might even allow Blitz and Randoms to go for that option instead, but still waiting on a pick here. Let's just go back to the bans briefly. We see Hubwa and Uller being taken away by Blitz and Randoms, and Team Aces decided to take away Nemesis and Achilles.
Yeah, and Uller is being taken away from the notorious Bad Chemist, who many ranked players understand Bad Chemist is a great Uller player. Looks like Blitz and Randoms doesn't want to have to deal with Bad Chemist on his Uller, so they're just going to take care of that right away in the picks and bans. Looks like there's going to be a Kukulkan pick on the side of Blitz and Randoms. I think that's going to be a pretty good pick for the solo lane, but you could also play it in the jungle role if you really wanted to. So it's kind of a flex pick on the side of Blitz and Randoms.
I would even say it's more viable in the support role on occasion, and we have seen it a number of times played by iRapper over in Europe. But it could go either way here. Terra doesn't make a bad solo laner by any means, but it really depends on what the solo lane is going to be for Team Aces, and y'all know Zach. Zach is not very keen on playing the normal things, you might say.
That's very true. Looking on the side of Team Aces, though, Bad Chemist picking up that Hachiman. Hachiman, we just saw the last game, how much damage he can put out with his poke, with his second ability, the Heavenly Banner. And that's going to be great in the laning phase, and then his ultimate once it comes down to the team fight phase as well. Looks like there's going to be a Ratatasker pick, which, again, could be a flex pick for the jungle or the solo lane.
A lot of flex picks going around here, and that's kind of a good idea when it comes down to what your opponents will try to ban against you, but still, no focus on Giannis at all, which is kind of strange when you ask me. That almost makes me feel like their mid laner just can't play it, which is kind of a shame considering how good Giannis is right now in the meta.
Well, I think most people can play the Janus pretty well, and if they're not picking it, I guess it's very true. He might not be in his god pool, but at the same time, he could just be bored of playing Janus so much. He's played so often that maybe it's time for them to switch up and try a different team composition instead.
Speaking of a different team composition, they're definitely not going to be working with an Agni, and there goes the Honest ban against Blitz and Random. So, banning away two mages that could be pretty significant in team fights here, but on the side of Blitz and Randoms, they did want to take away that Cerberus. So, no more tanky solo laners for you.
That's very true. The Athena getting picked up by Team Aces is going to have great synergy, both with the Hachiman to secure his Heavenly Banner ability, as well as for the Thoth, who is going to be able to land his ultimate even easier. And if Athena gets a 3-man taunt into a Thoth ultimate, that's going to be a lot of damage.
Indeed. So the question is, how good is this Athena going to be, or rather, how close is she going to be able to get to the backline here? Because right now, not actually any backline picked yet for the side of Blitz and Random. So they're trying to probably just wait it out, see what kind of front line the other team is going to select here, and then build a comp around that. And I kind of respect that.
That's true, and I think it's a good idea for Blitz and the Randoms to take out the Daji pick. If you look at the team composition for Team Aces, they have an ADC, they have a mid laner, and they have a support. So they're still looking for a jungler and a solo laner, and banning out that Daji is a great idea. Daji is a really strong pick right now in the jungle role, especially with how impactful her ultimate ability is in team fights. So I think that's a great ban on the side of Blitz and Randoms.
That still leaves open quite a number of good junglers, though. I mean, we're still looking at a god like Robin being available, or even something as strange as Thor, or we've seen a thing in the jungle in the past, so, I wouldn't be surprised to see it again, but Bellona is going to be the selection here for the side of Team Ace, is going to Zach, and against Cullen, I'm not sure if it has a relatively positive matchup into any of the gods that could go into the solo lane here, but it is one of those solo laners that you can just sit around and farm up on.
It looks like, again, we're going to see the Nuwa. Hopefully, the Nuwa on the side of Blitz and Randoms is going to have a little bit more success than the last game on Jahinza East or Transports. this Nuwa pick is an interesting pick again. It's going to disrupt the team for the Athena and the Bellona if they decide they want to dive the backline. Again, those clay minions are pretty scary. A lot of damage, as well as a 1-second stun, which can disrupt the dive. So I think the Nuwa pick is going to be an okay pick if she can stay away from the Athena taunt.
Rom is also going to be the hover here, and we saw this matchup before, and I'm kind of concerned. But if they want to go for it, they do have such long range abilities here between the Numa ultimate, the Ratatoskr ultimate, and the Rom ultimate that if they decide to hard commit onto anyone in the front line, and Ratatoskr goes in, follows up with the New Ult, follows up with the Rom ult, they could be toast.
Yeah, there is a lot of damage on the side of Blitz and the randoms. With protection shred from Ratatasker, as well as with the new Terra ultimate, with how much damage that does and an AoE around her, I think that this is actually a really good team comp on the side of Blitz and randoms. Great frontline, great get in your face gods, and then the follow up with the Rama ult up in the air, as well as the Nuwa ult, which will hit everyone on the side of Aces.
Definitely, but we also have to consider Ace's draft here because they do have the long range follow up as well for that Athena time. I mean, Heavenly Banner followed up with the horse, and Thoth with his one, and then even his final judgment could do a ton of work in this composition. But Susano will be the last hover here for the side of Team Aces, and I suppose it kind of works in the same way that Athena does. You walk up to someone, pull them in, and then you wait for your carries to do the damage. So altogether, great idea coming out from Team Aces. But if you had to pick one, whose draft would you go with?
If Team Aces ends up getting a little bit of a lead, I think that Team Aces team comp is going to have the upper hand. However, if Blitz and the randoms are able to get a couple of early picks, then they can really snowball off of that team composition. So I think in this game, I'm going to go for the side of Team Aces. I think they have a better team comp in this one.
I think for me, I'm going to go for Blitz and the randoms just because I really like the long range idea coming out between them. And Terra is just so strong right now, man. It's a great comp altogether. Gotta say, love the global presence here from the pretty much all of them except for Kakulin. And altogether, that's gonna be my pick. But the casters are split, but there can only be one winner. So we're gonna go to game in just a minute. Hello everyone and welcome back to this round 2 match in Battle for Asgard. Right now we've got Blitz and the randoms on the order side and Team Aces on the chaos side, and I'm still joined here by Serial.
How's it going, everybody?
Well, right now this bit of a grouping coming out from Blitz and the randoms, and unfortunately did not find anyone in Team Ace's jungle, but they were looking, and everyone's just gonna go back to their own lanes now, trying to still find a sneaky kill onto anyone if they run into them.
Yeah, I think it's great that they're just doing this very standard start of the mid and the jungler hanging out at the speed buff. You see that ward on the side of Blitz and the randoms just to see where the Susanoo is going to go. Sometimes the Susanoo, the jungler, will rotate from the speed buff directly over to the dual lane. So throwing that ward there is going to allow them to have that vision.
Yes, and Ratatoskr having that cleave auto attack can actually afford to let the Nuwa go and farm up the mid lane by herself. And just between the two of them, I mean, the Thoth does end up splitting with Susanoo, so probably will hit level 2 here in the mid lane before Blizzard does, but just gonna be happy to poke out Glorify.
Yeah, I think that's a great job by the Nuwa. Decided to just go to the mid lane instead, try to give herself a little bit more farm. Missing that root auto attack, but still hitting the 3, taking Glorify down to a quarter HP, especially with the minion damage that are hitting him the entire time. Great job by Nuwa using that early pressure without the Thoth having his dash yet.
Also, just to note, Levi there went from the speed buff to the right mid camps, leaving his red buff pretty exposed, and right now Nadaj is going to take advantage of that and steal it away. Meanwhile, Dishonored is happy to be Kakulin and does not need a blue buff per se, having turned into the big boy here, but is getting flapped pretty hard by these minions. Zach is very happy to take that bludgeon and shove it right into his face, and he is taking quite a bit of poke here, like I said, from these minions.
Yeah, Blitza is doing a great job, though, of trying to maintain pressure with his Nuwa in mid. Looks like there's going to be a rotation from Nadaj to try to disrupt the invade on the blue buff, but Levi has already invaded that blue buff, and there's nothing they can do about it.
Dishonored here actually losing pressure as Kakulin, because unfortunately he does not have the cooldown there from his blue buff and did not clear the wave before Zek finished it up. So he will just have to sit under tower and be very wary of this Susanoo, as he might still be lurking around, but looks like he does just want to go for those back camps, and meanwhile Nadaj is trying to make a play on Glorify.
Yeah, it looks like Rat's going to go in. He's going to use his 2. He used his dash, but Glorify hit him in the stun right in the middle of the dash. That was a great play by Glorify to have a little bit of patience.
Levi has come in the middle lane to take these last couple of minions here before going to look for some more farm, but the red buff has already been completed, so nothing there for Levi to grab. So it looks like he's just going to stay, split these waves, and go for the mid camps one more time.
Nadaj right there went over to the left side of the dual side of the map. Looks like there is a fight going on in the dual lane. Mike Nasty is brought down to about a quarter HP, and Mashi charges up her dash. The Athena charges up her dash, ready to go in, but they decide, you know what, maybe it's better just to let Mike Nasty walk away with that. But that was a lot. The Mike Nasty tried to engage, and he got punished for it pretty severely.
Red buff being started up by Nadaj and Blizzard, and it looks like Nadaj wants to try one more time to make a rotation on this duo side, knowing that his Terra is getting poked incredibly low. A couple more shots will do it here, and the dash from Bad Chemist secures first blood, but Bad Chemist now getting aggressed stun. Did get hit by the stun there from Nadaj, and Nadaj finds a return kill onto Bad Chemist.
Now that was pretty well worth, because Bad Chemist was able to get that first blood gold. So great play on the side of Team Aces to try to get that first blood. Great aggression by Bad Chemist. He did have to use his Aegis to try to live a little bit longer, but the Ratatasker and the Rama were sitting right on top of him. There was nothing he could have done to get out of that situation.
Definitely not, but I just want to touch a little bit here on this mid lane build. We see that the Thoth is actually having this uncommon staff, means that he'll likely go for the Warlock Sash. Meanwhile, Nuwa has the spellbook here. So what is going this Book of Thoth going to do for her in the late game?
Going this Book of Thoth is going to give Blitzit just a little bit more mana than you would get, or MP5, I'm sorry, than you would get from the Warlocks. Looks like Thoth is going to use his ultimate ability to clear that wave in mid.
Yikes.
Yesterday there was a game that I was watching where a Vulcan did the same thing, and I think that's perfectly fine to do, especially at this point in the game where you just want to clear the wave and rotate to a different part of the map. So I think that's perfectly fine for him to do. Great engage by Glorify, getting that stun, getting the beads off of Blitzit. Levi tries to use his third ability to teleport to Blitzit to get a little bit more damage off, but it hits the minions in mid-wave instead. That was great aggression by Glorify, though, and great reaction time by Blitzit to get the beads off as fast as he could.
Yeah, I do not think that he would have died necessarily there, because Blizzard still had his ultimate and did have a little bit of mana left to be able to use abilities, and Blizzard there going to pause his back to send his clay minion towards another minion and end its life pretty promptly there.
Yeah, and Levi was pretty low on mana there as well, so it would have been a hard kill for sure, but it was definitely a good try by Glorify and Levi to try to get that pick.
Looks like now the Ratatosker is trying to continue his pressure onto this left-hand side here, meeting up with his enemy Thoughts to get these mid-camps. It looks like he'll get both of them, so being pretty happy to have that slight XP lead over his direct opponent. And we talked a little bit about this solo lane, but even though Dishonored has been having a bit of issues here in this lane, he does actually have the XP lead, and Ratatosker is going to use Through the Cosmos to get a knockup onto Zek, and Zek is going to be stuck between two, but Athena ult comes out, and he is on his way. Dishonored uses his ultimate as well, but Typhoon comes out from Susano, jumped over by Dishonored, does get some health back there from the Warrior's Blessing, and Zek, unfortunately, is not going to find this kill.
That was a fantastic re-engage on the side of Aces to go in, and another great disengage by Dishonored after he realized that he wasn't going to pick up that kill on Zek right.
Oh, but Blitzen gets pulled into the middle of two. Blitzen actually gets the kill to Zek, and right now Nadaj finds a kill as well. Dishonored picks up Levi, and Glorify is here with the Terra ult pop, but no mana left. Blitzen jumps into his but Glorify is going to fall down to Dishonored.
No, I'm not sure why Blitzen decided he wanted to go in there. He already picked up a kill and went into the air and somehow escaped from all of the Thoth damage. That was unfortunate that he decided to go in and try to be a little bit cheeky getting another kill.
Probably thought that the Thoth was lower than he actually was, and having no mana, you can only assume that the Thoth didn't have his first ability popped, but unfortunately did have those hieroglyphics ready to throw Nuwa's way and did secure the kill before falling down himself.
That was still a fantastic play on the side of Blitz and Randoms, though. That rotation over there and the combo of abilities from both teams, really. But Blitz and the Randoms were able to come out on top.
Yes, and you can see that an XP lead here between the two teams. We're seeing about 1,500 experience in the favor of Blitz and the Randoms, and the jungler right now is the biggest proponent of that, sitting 2 levels ahead of his direct opponent.
Yeah, not only that, but also looking in the solo lane, the Kukulkan has a 2-level lead over the Bologna. So Dishonored, even though he struggled in the very first level of the game getting his blue buff invaded, he's able to get a 2-level lead over Zek.
On the backhand side of this mid lane, we see Athena trying to come in and find a little bit of an engage here. Stun off the mark there. Great time dash, but ultimate comes through from the Ratatosker, and Tom was off the mark as well. Glorify almost gets chunked down there, and Mike Nasty wants to go in. Great stun by Glorify, trying to get that kill on Mike Nasty. It actually does! Tower shot will confirm the kill!
Yeah, that was a little bit too aggressive by Mike Nasty trying to wrap around the tower like that to pick up the kill. Unfortunately, the Ratatasker ult was slightly off the mark. I'm not sure if he had hit that ult, if that would have been a kill or not, but that was still a good try. I really like the aggression on both of these teams, and Blitzit's doing a great job with the auto attack cancels between his 1 and his 3, trying to get as much DPS out as he can.
Right now we see Dishonored trying to invade this blue buff, but 3 members are here using the ultimate to try and get some damage on Mashy and Levi, and Levi is taking a ton of poke. Blood all comes out, but Mashy is 1 HP just from Dishonored, gets up at Glorify, takes down a dodge.
Yeah, that was a great ultimate by Zek to make sure he could try to keep people alive as much as he could. Unfortunately, Mashy was just a little bit too low, and Dishonored was able to use his 3 to chase him down. Great root coming out from Mike Nasty, as well as the stun onto Zek. Blitzen is there for a lot of damage. A 2-man ult coming out from Glorify, and you can see just how much damage Thoth is doing at this point in the game. Everyone's pretty low. Another double taunt coming out from Mashy. Great taunt. We'll see if Glorify is able to pick up this kill on Blitzit. He misses the first one, but is able to dash in, pick up the kill on Blitzit. After he dashes in, he needs to back off, and the team needs to start peeling for him. Looks like Mashy's going to have his taunt up in just a moment. They're ready to dive this.
Zek needs to get one more auto in here. It actually does. Levi will actually get the last hit though, and Dishonored wants to go in and try and get the last hit onto Zek, and actually kills Mashy in the process. He has the transform. He's gonna go in, blink away from Levi will be good enough. Glorify unfortunately misses the stun there, but Dishonored misses his ultimate as well. Needs to be careful. Levi has minute to go back in, tries to get the pull, unfortunately too far away, so Dishonored will be A-okay.
You can see Aces is playing with fire with how low these players are in their health pools. However, they do have enough CC that if Dishonored overextends, he could get bursted pretty quickly. Both teams respecting the players and trusting that they're going to hit the abilities.
Oh, but meanwhile, while Levi was in the right lane, Nadaj had gotten stolen away his speed buff. He's gonna be pretty angry about that, but that's only going to extend Nadaj's lead here.
Great awareness by Nadaj, and the communication between Nadaj and Dishonored was perfect. Dishonored said, hey, there are 3 people here. They can't kill me. I'm too tanky. I'm just going to play back here right on the edge of where they can go after me. And he says, hey, Ratatasker, hey, Nadaj, go invade their speed buff. Levi's not going to be happy about that at all. We all know that junglers love their speed buff.
Definitely, and right now, they also love their farm, and getting away to himself is Nadaj. But the red team right now is actually trying to get the oracles, but it actually looks like it was stolen away.
Yeah, it went the way of Blitz and the Randoms did a great job of securing those oracles. It looks like Glorify is charging his ultimate, ready to shoot it out, but he misses both players, Mike Nasty and Nadaj. Nadaj is in the air, as well as Nua using the ultimate. Nadaj is able to pick up that kill. Glorify dashes in. A lot of damage coming out of Glorify as on that Thoth, and Bad Chemist is there for the rotation as well. Zekroy making a rotation all the way from the solo lane, misses his bludgeon, gets rooted. Mike Nasty might actually get out from this situation.
Dash through from the Thoth, gets the last hit there, but no more dash on the Thoth. Glorify's gotta be careful, Aegis comes out. Dishonored unfortunately used the ultimate there a little too early, but Jump Off grabs the last hit on the backhand side. Athena ult is coming through, and so is second Levi, but Levi is getting beat up by Dishonored. But right now, Blitzen is in the middle of 3. Oh my god, what a great stun to get out of on the backhand side. Levi is still here, but Jump Off gets the last hit. Zach also finishes off Blitzen, and Dishonored is beating up on Bad Chemist, actually killing Bad Chemist.
Yeah, there is so much power that gets brought to this Kukulkan when he transforms into that rage. And he's just able to walk through people. Because Dishonored already has his Gladiator Shield as well as his Tier 2, I'm assuming it's going to be a Mystical or a Mid-Guardian. He is very tanky on the side for physical damage. Looks like Mashy's going to try to have a cheeky steal. I don't know if he's really going to go for it or not. Yeah, he's looking at it a little bit too late. I'm not sure what his plan was there. But yeah, Dishonored on the Kukulkan is doing a great job. He's able to focus the right targets going on Susanoo and forcing him away from the rest of the team, and then coming back and doing as much damage to everyone else.
I mean, we've been seeing a lot of hard engages from the jungler here, but can we talk about that bit of a hard engage from the solo laner there? I mean, his rotation was on point.
From Zach had a great rotation initially with that first chase, unfortunately missing his bludgeon on Mike Nasty and making them chase a little bit too far for that kill. But the early rotation I think was great awareness. Looks like Ratatasker going to go in the air and go on to Levi, the Susanoo. Susanoo uses his ultimate ability, and so does Zach. Zach rotating again. Zach getting a single kill on Nadaj, but
what a great taunt coming out from the Athena there, pulling away Dishonored from following up there onto Zach, and Zach will be just okay, but maybe Glorify is not getting rooted out there and almost stunned. Great dash to get away. Dishonored will take the stun instead, and Final Judgment being charged up, but Mashy missing the taunt there means that Dishonored is going to be okay and not going to use that ultimate there.
You can see just how coordinated both of these teams are, with both solo laners rotating as fast as they can to these team fights. Zek knowing how important the jungle camps are and rotating to Levi while he's doing his back camps, even not even to defend a speed buff or anything like that, but knowing that he's probably going to get engaged on as much as possible. So Zekari making the great rotation, and then Dishonored having great team fight potential as well in that Kukulkan.
And that's what Kukulkan does best. He goes into team fights and absolutely rages out. He has shown so much presence in these fights. Right now he's 5-0-2, which is typically not a scoreline you see from a solo laner, but even between the two solo laners, he's 3 levels ahead, transforming right now into the guy and trying to push on, but meanwhile, Nadaj picks up Levi in the mid lane.
Yeah, that was a pretty aggressive blink on the side of Susanoo, but Ratatasker already has full Magi's built, so anything that's going to happen to Ratatasker in the form of CC is just, that is a ult from a very long ways away from Nadaj, so Nadaj ultimate is going to be on cooldown for pretty much nothing. Not sure if that was a misclick or what, but it was an interesting ult by Nadaj. He's just going to rotate back to his speed buff like nothing ever happened.
This team won't know. They'll be fine. They don't need his ultimate anyway.
Yeah, it's not that important. you see the level difference between the solo laner on the side of Blitz and Randoms compared to the support on the side of the Aces from Mashi. Dishonored is level 15, while Mashi is only level 9. When Dishonored uses his 1, which is already a max level, it's going to chunk Mashi. Mashi's going to take a very significant amount of damage from that. So Mashi, if he engages, he needs to immediately turn around and try to get away. Otherwise, Blitz and the Randoms are going to burst him down.
I mean, just taking a look at the leads here, we've got 3.8k, excuse me, in experience and 2k in gold. So theoretically, the fights should be pretty even, you might say. But 2k is just enough, I'd say, where the fights start to get a little bit out of balance. But this certainly isn't too far away that the team of Aces can't come back.
No, absolutely not. I think Aces is definitely still in this game. Not only... Oh, looks like Bellona's going to use her ultimate after proxying behind the T2 tower. We'll see if she gets punished or not. Athena ult's going to come out as well, and the rest of the team is going to rotate to make sure Zek can get out. That was a pretty deep proxy farm all the way down there. They're not looking for a Gold Fury, so I'm interested why they wanted to burn 2 ultimate abilities just for that invade. Or just for that proxy, I'm sorry.
Was it two ultimates, but it was also the Thorns from the Bellona. So that's gonna give the Ratatoskr free dive rain onto the Bellona in the future, and especially to be able to push pretty deep onto any enemies, really.
I think that was great reaction from Blitz and the Randos, though. Randoms, I'm sorry. Blitz and the Randoms to go down and stop Zek from really proxying anything else, and making sure that they can get those ultimate abilities out, because he should get punished for going that deep.
Yes, and at this point in time, we haven't talked a whole lot about the dual lane here, but they've actually gone into pretty identical builds. Can you tell me a little bit why this Hachiman didn't go for the Transcendence?
I think the Hachiman thinks that he's going to get run down by the Terra, the Ratatoskr, and the Kukulkan, so he needs to see if he can live as long as he can. If he gets those people right on top of him, having that sustain with the Devo gloves over having the damage from the Transcendence, some people prefer it. Honestly, it comes down to the playstyle of the player. I think on Hachiman you can go either way and it's just fine. So.
Speaking of just fine, Ratatoskr trying to make the best rotation possible onto the left lane, and he is doing just fine himself, but we need to be aware here that there is a ward coming out from the side of the Aces, but this Gold Fury is being shredded like business. Hachiman is here, but the blue team does get it. Blitz grabs a couple of a bit of free gold there. Mike Nasty popping the ultimate. Not sure if he understands what it does anymore, but trying to burst down. Mashi does try to get away on this left-hand side to blitz it. Will find the last hit with the ultimate.
Yeah, that was a great ultimate coming out from Blitzen. There are 5 versus 1. Bad Chemist is going to have to use his horse to get out, and you can see just how safe that makes him. However, he has the Devil Gloves. If he can live through this initial burst, which it looks like Dishonored is there to try to kill him. Dishonored doesn't have the cooldowns, and Thoth through the wall, hitting the stun to try to peel for his ADC. The ADC is going to fall though, and now it's a 3 versus 1. Great pull, a little bit off the mark, so not the double knockout, but Dishonored's not going to be able to live through all 3 of these, especially with all of his cooldowns down. And in the meantime, Blitz and the Randoms are able to push down a T2 tower.
I would say that's a pretty successful trade if you ask me, although Dishonored might not say the same, but it was worth it, buddy, don't worry.
I think that was definitely worth it. Great job living as long as you could, getting that lead early in the game so that you could live as long as possible when that type of situation occurs. Great job by Dishonored living as much as he could. Great job by Mike Nasty using his walls not only for zoning, but to keep himself alive for the pullback from Levi from the Susano. One of Terra's passives is that Terra's passive in general is that she doesn't get knocked up if she has one of her pillars up.
That is such a powerful passive here, especially into the Susano. Getting knocked up is something that 2 of his abilities do, and to not be able to get interrupted like that is a pretty strong passive. And between all of Terra's abilities here, she has been doing a pretty good job in keeping pretty far ahead of Nashi here, even though he is 0-4 right now. Still participating in quite a couple of fights, but unfortunately being that sacrificial lamb to getting his team ahead.
Yeah, and I think that ultimate ability that he used earlier was used in a perfectly fine spot. In case the enemy team, in case Aces decided that they wanted to engage on Blitz and the Randoms, then they would have had that heal, which is about a 300 HP heal, which is pretty significant. So popping that early just in case aces were to follow up, I think that was a fine ultimate ability in that situation. So good awareness by Mike Nasty. He also might not have picked up on the change on Terra's ultimate, I'm not going to lie. But it looks like
Pyromancer will be secured by the team of Blitz and the Randoms, but the left-hand tier 1 tower being taken away by the Hachiman. So Bad Chemist getting his farm game on, but Ratatoskr is also getting his game on, making the rotation. Bad Chemist is forced to use the dash pretty early. Now horsing away here, but Nadash has a dash. Ultimate ability there, shot out by Bad Chemist to slow down Nadash, who is just waiting for his dash here, but there's no more abilities to get away. Going up in the sky is the Rom. It's 1, 2, and almost 3, but Nadash is going to try to finish him off. Stun there onto Mike Nasty. Nadash so close in the last hit, but one more hit. Oh, but Blitzit misses as well. The jump up finally gets the last hit there as Blitzit goes into the air.
Yeah, that was an interesting decision by Bad Chemist to push all the way down there, and after the Ratatasker used his chasing abilities to even stay there longer, he probably should have just taken off. Mike Nasty pushed up a little bit too far all the way to the tier 1 tower with no one else on his team in sight. Again, interesting decision. Looks like he wanted to solo that wave and give himself some farm, so that wasn't all good for the side of Blitz and the Randoms with Mike Nasty falling there.
Jump off Dishonored and Blitzit trying to push down that tier 2 tower, but not enough wards for them to push on any further. They need to be sure that there's no one coming behind them, or else they might get caught in a bad spot, so they are going to decide to back off, buy some more wards, spend the gold they just made on the left-hand side.
I want to point out again the amount of global presence that Blitz and the Randoms have. When Bad Chemist was trying to get out, he lived with just a little bit of HP, but Blitzit knew that he could ult, and they also had a sprint going on. Rama ended up picking up that kill for himself, but if someone gets low like that, Blitzit always has his ultimate to clean up that kill.
And that's just the strength of Nuwa right now. I mean, the common build right now is to go for that Soul Reaver Soul Gem, and when you have all 4 stacks on that Soul Gem, your next ability will do a ton of bonus damage to your opponents, and using that on the ultimate is certainly going to make for a bit of a spoiled surprise should you see that symbol showing up on yourself.
If you look at the difference in builds with the solo laners as well, what can you tell me about the difference between Dishonored's build and Zekari's build?
I mean, Dishonored is clearly more scared of the physical damage here, and that certainly is something to be aware of, but has built into a little bit of magical damage there, whereas Zach is kind of going for the all-around helpful guy build with the Mystical Mail and the Son of Gaia and the Pestilence. That's just a typical basic build, but Dishonored knows he has to do some damage in these fights, and certainly is, hitting level 20 here, and actually getting aggressed on by the Athena, but he's going to be okay. Transforming, actually, using the ultimate and getting 2 knockups there. Glorify actually does get hit by it, but using the Aegis to get away from his jump off is going to be there to finish the kill.
That was a great engage by Nadaj as well to try to zone out as many players as he can while the rest of the team focused on Glorify. That was a great job by Nadaj, keeping 2 people out and then immediately dashing away as soon as Susano used his ultimate ability. The 4-level difference between the junglers is really allowing Nadaj to walk around wherever he wants.
And that just comes out to the better awareness here. Blink in from Nados actually forces out the beats from Bad Chemist. Dishonored plops the sprint to try and get in there. Mike Nasty throws out the root, throws out the sun as well. Unfortunately, does not hit anyone. But the team of Blitz and the Randoms grab that tower for relatively free.
Yeah, and that's an interesting interaction I just saw. It looks like the Nuwa minions actually proc Soul Reaver, which I didn't know was something that happened in with those 2 abilities, the ability and the item. Looks like Team Blitz and Randoms are going to look to go for this Fire Giant. Dishonored's able to zone out 2 people just fine. He's not even a little bit worried about losing his health. That Gladiator shield, as well as the Mid Guardian, is going to allow him to stand in front of anything he really wants to. So, great zone, great fight, initially getting the pick and then able to go for the Fire Giant there.
With that Fire Giant around their belts, they're only going to extend their gold lead, which right now is an impressive 11.5k, and normally we talk about how 5k is a lot, but is there really any hope here, considering this lead is getting so big?
I think it's hard to say that there's absolutely no hope. After all, they still have several Phoenixes up. They have all 3 of their Phoenixes, and they still have the 1 tower left in the solo lane side. We'll see if they can get enough damage off. They have a great team fight, like I said at the very beginning when we were doing picks and bans. The Susanna ult combined with the Thoth ult, combined with even Zek Bellona ult, if they can get a good combo on the carries for Blitz and the randoms, then they can extend this game longer and eventually push down a few towers. It's going to be hard, but we'll see if they can do it.
Definitely is going to be hard. That would be a very challenging win, but also a very rewarding one. And right now we see Blitz and randoms grouping up here on this right-hand side. They definitely want to grab this tier 2 tower before going for any Phoenixes, since that's just the safe thing to do. So they will gladly grab this free money sitting here in the solo lane. And meanwhile, Nadaj will be pushing up this middle lane to hopefully grab a secondary target here for Blitz and randoms to do after they push down this Phoenix. If they do, Mike Nasty getting poked out a little bit there. Thoth.
Yeah, you can see how much Thoth has such a great defense with his insane range. That's one of the things that people really dislike about Thoth, is how much range he has for his poke. If he can poke people down, unfortunately he does not have a divine rune, so they're able to just heal up all the poke. But we'll see what he can push.
Dishonored pushing in here to zone away Glorify and Levi. Glorify having to extend the dash there to get away. Ron goes up in the sky, trying to find the last hits onto Zach. Hits 1, 2, and unfortunately it's out of range for the third, but that forces both Zach and Glorify to go back to base. Levi picks in, but blinks right on back to base. Take a seat, son, you're dead. But that's going to be the right-hand Phoenix, but Athena ult comes out. Actually, it's not done quite yet. Nasty tries to grab a taunt, but immune out by everyone. Great stun there by Mike Nasty, trying to find another hit, and Blitzen does excellent damage there on the mashing, and jump off will find the last hit.
The spam lab coming off of Bad Chemist as he's able to avoid the damage from the dodge. Looks like they're just running in. They're farming them in the fountain if they can. All 5 members are still alive, and Blitzit and the randoms. Blitzit is just looking to try to kill Bad Chemist, but Bad Chemist still had his Aegis up. Looks like the game is going to go the way of Blitz, or it's going to go the way of Blitz and the randoms.
And what a great performance they had, especially from the jungler Nadaj and the solo laner Dishonored. I mean, we saw what Nadaj was able to do in those first couple of minutes to get himself a lead, and then look what Dishonored did with it. I mean, Dishonored was losing the first couple of waves, and then all of a sudden he had this lead, and he went with the lead and ran with it. I mean, sprinted with it.
Yeah, and that's something that I said that would probably happen. If they can get any form of lead, then they're just going to snowball off of it because of their dive comp. Kukulkan is great from ahead. Ratatasker is fantastic from ahead. And so is even Terra is fantastic from ahead. More than many of the gods in Smite. Those are great gods that can snowball with. If we look at the player damage between the two junglers, Nadaj coming out with 17.7k damage and Levi only able to put out 6k. You can see just how impactful Nadaj was in that game.
Yikes, is all I'm going to say to that player damage there. But between the two teams, we did see Blitz and randoms come out on top, but that will be it for this game. But we still got one more to bring to you, and that's going to be the finals. So we will see you guys in just a couple minutes.
that you never started. You once destroyed a broken heart that was already shattered. Holding on to what we have, you take us to the edge and back. Holding on to what we have, you take us to the edge and back. This love that you never started. You once destroyed a broken heart that was already shattered. Holding on to what we have, you take us to the edge and back. Holding on to what we have, you take us to the edge and back.
Hello everyone and welcome to the finals of this week's Battle for Asgard. Right now we've got Dragonus UC on the Order side versus What the Heck on the Chaos side, and I'm here with Serial.
How's it going, everybody?
This is going to be a pretty interesting game, it seems. We've got a couple familiar faces here, such as Kale and Shinto on the side of Dragonus, and Grave, Iceman, Why-Try. All these names are so familiar to people who have been active in the NAC for quite a while. NA scene, I should say.
Yeah, a lot of these players are very well known, and Rangyu, Letteror, Shinto, Kale, and Nesfor, I believe, are from Latin America. I'm not entirely certain on that, but I believe that they are from Latin America, which is fantastic. It's a Latin America versus the upper half, up above the border.
Yeah, so right now, just take a look at these picks and bans here. We've got Giannis and Achilles being taken away by Dragonus, and What the Heck decided to get rid of Terra and Thoth. But the first pick here will be the Nemesis.
Yeah, Nemesis is really strong right now, even with the slight nerfs that Hyris has given her. She still does a great job of shredding protections as well as basically one-shotting a carry. So I think the Nemesis is a great pick for a first pick. The bans coming out, unlike last game, they decided to prioritize the Janus ban over anything else. Hebo right now is still open. We'll see if either team decides they want to pick him up.
Yeah, but as for what they could pick up here, I think it probably will be the Uller, and there goes the Uller. So the only really popular mage I might see right here is the Nuwa, but it looks like they're going to prioritize the Athena instead.
Yeah, the Athena's great and competitive, pretty good in ranked as well, but the communication that you need with Athena is usually at a higher level than it is in ranked. So Athena in competitive is one of the top, if not the top, supports in Season 5 right now. Looks like the side of Dragonus UC, they're opting for that Kukulkan. We saw just how successful that was on Dishonored last game. We'll see if the solo laner from Dragonus can have the same type of success.
Discordia is also another interesting selection you see here. Dignitas has actually run a strategy kind of similar to what we're seeing out of Dragonus over in Europe. They like to see this Nemesis Discordia combo where you Nemesis ults and throw the apple on him, and if it works, I mean, that's a pretty much guaranteed 100-0 there, so we'll have to see if they can be successful with that.
That's very true, and if Nemesis decides she wants to drop that ultimate on one of the tanks who's a little bit too far forward, it's going to be hard for Discordia to miss that big apple. And if that spreads, that's even more damage going on to the rest of the team. Looks like Camazotz get picked up on the side of what the heck. Camazotz is a great pick. Absolutely unreal sustain. He's the king of sustain, some might say, in the solo lane. But you could also play him in the jungle role and do a significant amount of damage and have the safety with your ultimate to chase and then get out right afterwards. So
I
really
would say maybe the jungle for place for this Camazotz, considering the matchup in the solo lane is going to be pretty rough, considering that Cullen does have that pressure between his transformation and the anti-heal in his first ability.
I agree with you. I think that will be a jungle Camazotz, but we'll have to see soon. I really like, if you look, there's a jungle, a mage, and a solo laner picked up on the side of Dragonis, but there's the jungle, we think, with the flex pick of Camazotz. Ooh, but there's a Sobek getting picked up on the side of what the heck. Maybe it's going to be a solo Beck and a Camazotz jungle.
I'm pretty sure that's going to be the way it's going to float, but we also have to see that Geb and Hachiman were taken away there by what the heck, whereas Sol and Agni, a huge focus here on the mid lane for the side of Dragonis, actually having banned away 3 mages out of their 4 bans, but Apollo is going to be hovered here, but actually they might go for the Ho Yi.
Yeah, Ho Yi is a great pick. His giant ultimate with the suns coming down, he shoots 8 suns into the air, and they all fall down. 9, I'm sorry, 9 suns. And they all come down into a very large AoE ultimate ability, which slows the rest of the team as well as doing a pretty good amount of damage. So I really like that Ho Yi. Combo that with the Sylvanas ult. I really like that combo in the dual lane.
The only thing I'm kind of concerned about here is that Sylvanas is being chosen into 2 very aggressive Guardians. The Athena and Sobek have a pretty good range of control to deal with that Sylvanas, and like you said, Sylvanas not very mobile as a character, so may have some struggles there outside of the dual lane, but we'll have to see how well Awesome Jake can do in terms of coming and rotating to kill the tree on cooldown. But altogether, taking a look at these comps, who do you favor?
Oh, man. Like I said earlier, the Athena is a really strong pick. However, if the Nemesis and the Discordia could get enough damage off, then that might be a team fight. I'm going to go the side of What the Heck. I think What the Heck has a better team composition for this one.
I'm gonna agree with you there. I really, really like the double Guardian coming out of What the Heck. I think it's gonna be really useful, especially against characters like Discordia and Sylvanas who aren't that high on the mobility chart. So they'll probably be feeling the burn there as they get stuck in all of the slows and the stuns and the whatnot coming out of What the Heck. So that is going to be it for picks and bans. Caster's in agreement, but what will the map say? We'll have to find out. Hello everyone and welcome back to the finals of this week's 5 vs. 5 Battle for Asgard. Right now, we've got Dragonus UC against what the heck it looks like. Dragonus UC has barely escaped getting a nasty gank right to the face there, but I'm still here with Serial, so we're gonna hop into this game pretty immediately.
Yeah, I'm pretty happy to see that what the heck are just looking around, roaming the jungle. Looks like Shinto's going to try to put a little bit of poke onto Awesome Jake, but he's going to miss that one, unfortunately. Awesome Jake, I think, was looking to proxy the wave without Shinto's knowledge. Instead, he's just going to go right back to the wave. Or is he coming back? I am not sure. Looks like he is going to look to proxy that wave. He can't really fight Shinto. I'm not sure what Awesome Jake is doing. There we go. He's just going to get a little bit of damage on the front melee minions for that wave, and then he's going to head back to the lane. So, right now.
A little bit more action going on in this dual lane, though, as Viper tries to aggress onto Rongyu, who they definitely have the pressure here on in the dual lane side due to Dragonus, and they're going to happily hop on over to this purple buff as what the heck, try to pick up the remainders of that wave that was headed straight to their tower.
Yeah, I think that was a perfectly fine play by Iceman and Viper to just take off and secure their own purple buff. They didn't miss any of the XP. They lost a little bit of gold from the minions getting hit by the tower, but they were able to secure their buff as well as come back to the wave and get all of the XP from it. They know they're going to lose the Sylvanas. They're going to do their very best to maintain pressure, but Sylvanas has just way too much clear.
Viper has chosen to go into his dash here, but over in the mid lane, Discordia is gonna fall down to Graves damage. Excellent work by the jungler there to hop on over and pick up that mid lane mage while she was just sitting all lonesome there in the mid lane jungler, having done the blue buff one more time.
Yeah, it looks like Grave did have to expend his blink to pick up that kill, but that was definitely worth getting that first blood on the side of what the heck.
Right now, Grave is trying to see if he can steal away the blue buff, but it was literally just taken there by Let Error. So Let Error will be actually taking those left-hand side backhands, but Rongyu is getting aggressive on this left-hand side, and he will be okay. The heal is going to come out, so... Oh, nice bounce there from Nespor, trying to get a little bit more poke on Iceman. The Viper just wants to dash the wave. He actually does nick Rongyu there with the dash, and tries to continue throwing those lances right back in their faces, but taking a look at the solo side.
Over on the solo lane side, Awesome Jake dashes in and ends up taking a tower shot. Grave was completely ready to fight that. Letteroy does a great job of body blocking. He doesn't have any abilities up, but his autos might just do the trick. Awesome Jake misses his dash for the second time, unfortunately unable to pick up the kill on Letteroy. But great job by Grave focusing the solo laner down, Shinto, and making sure that he is removed from the battlefield.
That was a pretty close call there for Grave too, getting pretty low thanks to the body blocks from Letteroy. So between that and the damage coming up from the Nemesis was almost shaken there, but not stirred because Camazotz will come right on back to get that speed buff. But meanwhile, Letteroy does want to take away these back Harpies from his direct opponent.
So while Letteroy is invading over on the right side, what the heck decides they're going to invade the red buff, and that's a successful invade. That red buff, we saw in a game earlier that there was a team that lost their red buff 4 times in a row. We'll see if that's what happens on the side of what the heck or not.
Grave, however, has decided to make the rotation again to the solo lane, picking up a kill, and going pretty hard here onto Shinto, is getting a ton of damage onto the Kukulkan, but slowly and surely, the Kukulkan is building up those rage stacks and is primed to transform. He is going to almost get it off there, but Awesome Jake secures it with a nice sickening strike.
And it looks like both of them are pretty healthy. He is level 5 now. They're going to be looking to invade this blue buff while Nemesis does her speed buff. It looks like it's going to be a successful invade. I'm not sure if Nemesis knows it's happening or not. Looks like she does, but she's just going to take a look at it and probably walk away. If she tries to engage, she's just going to stop Grave's back. Grave isn't in any danger here. He still has his ultimate to get out, and there's no one else that can contest him. So, great invade on the side of what the heck.
Awesome Jake there did expend his ultimate to clear the wave, but he will be returning to base, sending an entire wave under Shinto's tower. So Shinto going to just farm on up, trying to hit that level 5 so desperately to get those 2 ultimates. That makes Kukulkan who he is, pretty much.
Yeah. Over on the dual lane side, looks like Rongu and Nesfor are a little bit nervous walking through into the wave that way. Viper with his taunt on the Athena and Iceman with his stun on the Axe makes it pretty scary to walk back into lane unless you have vision on them and you're ready to fight. Neither of them have huge team fight ultimate abilities, the Iceman, the Ullr, and the Athena, but they still have that one level advantage. So Rongu and Nesfor are a little bit nervous walking through that way.
Yes, well, between Ron and S4, they've got some pretty good setup. Throwing out the Sylvanas ult will guarantee at least 2 stuns there from the Hou Yi, and invade one more time onto the red buff. Actually does net them the buff, and it looks like Viper wants to engage here on this left-hand side to try and take away this purple. Meanwhile, Try and Grave will grab another kill onto Kale. Poor Discordia, man. And Viper actually did steal away the purple buff.
Yeah, that's fantastic. That's good, though, because they ended up losing the invade on the red buff. So Dragonis UC was able to secure their red buff before dispersing into the fights. Looks like
The mid lane is going to advance on a Try. Oh, but does fall down to the tower there. That is going to be a 1-for-1 trade in the mid lane, and unfortunately they're maybe not as much in the favor of Let Error as you wanted.
That was a great job by Try making sure he got his damage off before he was killed by the Nemesis. Great job getting his damage off and trying to go as far back into the tower as he could so that Let Error took a tower shot. That tower shot did a lot more than I expected it to.
Absolutely, and that just sent the jungler right on back to base here. Awesome Jake wanted to go in on the solo laner, but Shinto gonna almost have his rage form available, so he should be okay. But another sickening strike from Awesome Jake is gonna do the trick, and back to the base for the third time this game will go Shinto.
Looks like Letteroy is going to do a good job securing his buff from Grave and Awesome Jake, who have been invading on this side pretty much the entire game. Great job at Letteroy. That's the second buff that has been invaded that they've been able to secure for themselves. So great job on the side of Dragonis to make sure they're keeping their buff timers.
Unfortunately, though, this gold lead is not really that bad quite yet, but it is going to hit that 2K mark soon, and that's going to start to be the lead is going to actually be a little bit relevant. We like to talk about how 5K is about the mark where it gets out of control, but 2K is when you can start to feel it.
Especially this early in the game, at only 7 minutes in the game, having a 2,000 gold lead is pretty substantial at this point. You can see Awesome Jake just now, he had a 2-level advantage for just a moment, so it's about a 1-level advantage over Shinto. We'll see if the solo Beck can keep that advantage. As soon as you get an advantage on a Guardian like that, you can pretty much hold on to it the rest of the game.
Yeah, and I mean, you're talking about a lead in the solo lane, but pretty much every lane, including the jungle, has a 1-level lead, and that's pretty good between the rest of them. But right now, there's a fighter on this left-hand side. Mid-camp, blink in from Grave, misses the Screech there, but throws out the ultimate ability, trying to find the last hit. Thinks that Try can find it, but has to expend the beats to grab it. Meanwhile, Rongu is getting dove on, but the pull is almost good enough to save his life, but Grave with a double kill gets another one.
Great rotation by What the Heck that entire time. Excuse me. 4 people converging on 1 person at a time, and Grave recognizing that Try will be able to pick up the kill on Nemesis since Nemesis already expended her dash. So great communication, great trust again by Grave, trusting his team to get that kill.
Right now, the 3 members in the Gold Fury are hopefully biding their time here for Grave to keep Kale out, and Grave actually kills Kale. The Gold Fury goes to What the Heck, and Shinto is just trying to pick up anyone in his way. Viper needs to dash away, but Grave is here. Ultimate comes out from the Kukulkan, and Awesome Jake picks up the Kukulkan, but Let Error does find Grave. Right now, Jake is stuck between 2 players, and Iceman goes down to Nesfor, who also made the rotation.
Yeah, it looks like Nesfor, that was a great job by Nesfor having that confidence to just jump in on them, seeing how low they were and being able to hit that double bounce off of the wall. Great job by Nesfor looking to pick up those kills after that entire fight. You can see, we talked earlier that Camazotz is the king of sustain. He lived through everything, got all the way back up to about half health because of his passive, which grants him passive lifesteal, as well as his vampiric bats, which grants him healing from hitting enemy gods and enemy NPCs.
Yeah, and that is just really what has pushed Gritty edge in some of these occasions when he's gotten out with such low health. This time, not so lucky, but did end up getting a kill before he fell down. And overall, that trade was a net positive. I mean, 3 kills, a Gold Fury, another kill, and yeah, you fell down, but now we're sitting at 3k in the lead in terms of gold and 5k in terms of experience, so definitely what you want to see.
And over in the solo lane side, you see again there's that 2-level experience lead. Looks like they're pushing down the mid lane. What the heck is pushing down this mid lane with Grave leading the charge? He knows he has plenty of sustain and he can just tank that tower and heal up right afterwards. One thing we saw just a moment ago, Awesome Jake actually used his ultimate ability to invade Shinto's blue buff. So he knew that he wanted to kill it right away. But there's a fight going on in mid lane. Looks like Discordia ult is going to be enough to take down the great Grave on the Camazots, who was already in the air. Shinto makes the rotation. He jumps in for that ult. Wildtry knows that he can get a little bit of damage off. Again, going under tower to try to get as much tower damage as he can onto the enemy team. But unfortunately, he did not have his dash up. He could not run away from Shinto's rotation.
We did miss a solo kill there from Iceman, who is sitting at about, oh, I don't know, no HP, but he was able to find the solo kill on the Nestor, and Let Error wanted to find Iceman making the back, but unfortunately was a little too late there, but not too late was the mid and the solo laner on his team grabbing that mid tier 1 tower, but Awesome Jake is just going to solo push that tier 1 tower in the solo lane down as well.
Yeah, so that was a 2-for-1 for towers on the side of what the heck. They pushed down the mid lane, were a little bit too overextended and got killed for it, got punished. And then Draconis was able to push down the mid T1 in mid, but then Awesome Jake just hung out over in solo lane. Again, he's ulting for the solo buff. Let's see if he'll... Look at that. Perfectly timed. As soon as that blue buff spawned, Awesome Jake was able to steal that blue buff away. But Awesome Jake stealing that T1 tower over in solo lane, that's 2 towers for 1.
Definitely a favorable trade here, and speaking favorable trades, we've been talking about how Wildtry has been giving his life here to get some people low in the mid lane, but he's still 2 levels ahead of his enemy Discordia, who is trying her best really to get the damage that she needed onto her enemies. But speaking of getting damage onto enemies, Nemesis on the backhand side trying to find something on a Wildtry, but not enough damage to do get a kill. But Grave here, stuck between 2, trying not to put the apple onto anyone who would take too much damage, but Grave actually getting stuck here, and Kale finally grabs a kill in return, taking down Wildtry. Let Error trying to find the kill onto Grave, and actually does find it with the slice and dice. And on this upper right hand side, we can see that Awesome Jake is actually beating up Shinto, who is sitting at like a third of his health, but thankfully Sylvanas is here, going to heal up his solo laner, and they might try for the Pyromancer.
And Awesome Jake right there just lost his T1 tower. Iceman over in the dual lane getting a significant amount of pressure. He has a 2-level lead. Just a second ago it was a 3-level lead over the Hou Yi. The Hou Yi was forced to use his ultimate, but Iceman was able to invade the Void buff. So great job by Iceman maintaining his pressure as his Ullr against the Hou Yi.
And this is just typical Ullr play. He gets that little bit of a lead that he needs in the early game, and then he just smacks you all mid-game. And just wait until those team fights, Hou Yi. You'll be useful soon enough, I promise.
Looking at the different builds too, Hou Yi did not build the Hunter's Blessing, unfortunately. He just went directly for the Transcendence, which is a pretty common build as well. But because Iceman has fully stacked Hunter's Blessing, he's going to be hitting for almost 50 more than the Hou Yi is, in addition to the experience lead that he has over the Hou Yi.
That is definitely true, and right now, Iceman has gone into this tier 2 mace, which is a heavy mace here, so he's going to have 25 physical power and 10 pen. That's just going to be doing so much in these auto attacks and all of the abilities that Iceman needs to use. Taunt there onto Rangyu, but good immune using the ultimate.
Yeah, now they know that Rangyu's ultimate is going to be down, so they can look to engage on him maybe in a little bit. Sobek's going to be looking to rotate. You see, just proxied the wave over in the solo lane. All 5 of them are grouped up for this Gold Fury fight. Sylvanas doesn't have an ultimate, so if he gets plucked, he's dead in the water.
Speaking of dead in the water, the Gold Fury is going to go down, and Let Error tries to engage there, but unfortunately does not get anything. But Nestor grabs a double kill there, using the Suns to his advantage. Wildtry here on the backhand side will be taken down by Rangyu, and the only ones left are Grave and Awesome Jake. And right now, Grave trying to sneakily get back to base, while Awesome Jake is taking all of the pressure here. Right now, Grave, though, choosing to stop his back, chasing down Nestor. Nestor sees him, though. Excellent stun there from Nestor, and grabs the kill on the Grave.
Great auto attack and great stun by Nesfor there. Awesome Jake is going to run all the way to the solo lane side, and he's going to be able to get out. That Guardian with his protection on himself, as well as the Warlocks that he has built, is going to keep him alive for all of that. Dragonis, you see, are going to be looking for this Pyromancer. Well, even though What the Heck was able to secure that Gold Fury, going for that Pyromancer here is going to help them reduce that gold deficit that they have right now.
And this has pretty much been the breath of life that we need to see out of Dragonis. I mean, What the Heck dominated the early game. There's no question about that. But between the Nemesis and the Kikullin getting back into things, they've been able to reduce the gold lead to about 1k from its 3,500 original standpoint. So definitely been managing this mid game very well.
I think it's really interesting looking at the builds too. If you see Nemesis opted to go for that stone cutting sword instead of building into a Heart Seeker. Most Nemesis like to build into the Heart Seeker because of how much percentage damage it does. Looks like there might be a gank over here from Letteror on Iceman. Leading in with that ultimate ability, using the stun, but is able to chase. Athena's going to ult in. Athena ult does way too much damage. Letteror wants none of that. He's just going to go ahead and take off. That was a beads burned by Letteror while trying to chase that. But the Athena ult was also expended. Great disengage on the side of What the Heck.
Unfortunately there, Nesfor was not quite ready to engage on that side, so if Nesfor didn't have a wave in his way, we might have seen it go a different way, but with Viper on the way, I don't know if they would have pushed that, even with Nesfor being able to participate.
You can see Letteror is over hanging out with Awesome Jake. Awesome Jake's tanky enough, and he knows that Nemesis ult is down from the communication with the team, so he's not super worried. Over on the dual lane side, though, there's a Camazotz going ahead and blinking in on Nesfor. Nesfor doesn't have his jump anymore. So much damage coming out from Graves' ultimate ability, and because of that sustain, he's just full health still.
Grave holding out on this left-hand side, trying to find some more, but Ranyu is going to use his ultimate. Apple pops here on Awesome Jake. Viper's trying to stay away, but Awesome Jake is still here to try and find someone. Meanwhile, Grave taking a bit of damage here, but so is Letteror. Needs to get away here while Awesome Jake is going to lurk in the water to try and find some damage out here. But he does get pulled back in by Ranyu. Unfortunately, there Shinto does not find the ultimate ability to get some damage onto someone, and everyone's going to back off right now.
Letteror picks up a kill on Ytry. I was just going to say, Ytry is staying a little bit too long. Almost got the root off by Shinto. He gets a triple root. Great job. There's the ultimate coming out from Nemesis, but Iceman gets a little bit of heal and stays alive for just long enough. Letteror's very low, but he's able to walk away from this. They don't have a whole lot of chase for this Sobek anymore, even though Sobek has used his dash. Grave pushed the mid wave all the way into the tower, but he's ready to just go back, try to get his speed buff, and full reset.
Yeah, so that engage was once again a great breath of life here from the side of Dragonis. They've actually managed to nearly come back from this lead. They're still sitting at about 1.5k, but it's starting to feel like less and less as they're winning more team fights.
One thing I really appreciate about the build coming out from the Discordia on Draconis, Kale is deciding to go for that Divine Ruin, which reduces healing by 40%. That's a significant amount of healing, especially talking about this Camazotz who's been able to escape from these one-on-one kills with basically full health. If he gets hit by anything from Discordia, that's going to be a 40% reduced healing for 8 seconds. So I think that's a great pickup this early in the game by Discordia.
Yeah, and that's typically how we see it run, is we see, you know, the Warlock staff and then going into the boots, obviously, and then we see some sort of penetration, and both sides seem to have done that, except we're kind of missing the stacking item here from Ytry. Why do you think he went for the Soul Reaver instead?
The Soul Reaver actually gives...
Actually, hold that thought here. We've got a fight by the Cold Fury Viper. It was so low on this backhand side, but it's able to dash away from Letteror. Meanwhile, Letteror has already expended his dash, so he is going to get hit by the drums from Raijin. One more hit's going to do it, but unfortunately, he's going to get away here, using that speed from the Nemesis passive to get away. But Grave does find the kill onto Kale, and Sylvanas is left out here without an ultimate, getting chased down. Nice stuff by Iceman, and Grave finds another kill. Thorns popped by Shinto, and Shinto's going to turn into the guy, and a great ultimate to peel him away from the ADC on the side of Draconis. But one more hit, Grave gonna take the kill on Shinto. That's 3 kills for the Bat in this engage, sitting 11, 4, and 6. Means the Gold Fury is up next.
Iceman's very low, but he knows he has his team there around him who can tank it. Viper's almost full health, about 3/4 HP. Great blink in by Letteror, getting a ton of damage on Y-Try, but then it's taunted by Viper. Uses his beads as well as his shield, but he doesn't have enough damage to take out Iceman. Iceman does a great job staying away. He understands that he's low health, and even though he has his team there, he still needs to recognize and can still chase. So I think that was a great engage by Letteror, and then great awareness by Iceman to get away.
We were talking about how great these fights have been going for Draconis, but what the heck say, oh, what the heck, we're gonna just go and kill it. And that's what they did. They killed them, and they killed the Gold Fury, and that's gonna bring their lead right back up to where it was, and even a little bit further, sitting 4.5k now. All those kills plus the Gold Fury. Since the Gold Fury does scale how much gold you get based on time, you know, it's going to be worth a lot more now than it was before, and certainly paying off.
Yeah, and over on the side of Draconis, you see they're again looking to try to get this Pyromancer in return, but Y-Try is ready. He's on his way. Great pull by Rongyu. Forces Y-Try's beads. He tries to go up into the ultimate to try to get some damage off. Unfortunately, Draconis is able to secure that Pyromancer. So
actually, it looks like it was stolen away there. Even though Y-Try did fall, he did get to end up taking the Pyromancer on his behalf, and Athena right now gets to be careful. There's plenty of members there, but great stun by Iceman. Blink in from Yongyu, followed up by the ultimate from Let Error, and getting stuck between the damage from Let Error kill and Rongyu is not a place you want to be. Blinked out by Grave, and trying to put some damage on the Let Error in return. Uses the jump already and stuck between 4, but Awesome Jake is here as well. But on the backhand side, Shinto is here as well. They've got to be careful how deep they go in. Netcore is stuck here without a jump, but does use the H. One more hit, needs to go down, and there he goes. Awesome Jake does get it with the sickening strike there, and pulls back on the kill. Great beat to stay alive there, but Gray needs to be careful how far he commits here, taking almost enough damage, but oh my god, the heal there from his 3 is quite a lot, and Rongyu will make it out okay on this backhand side, but it looks like they want to disengage.
Yeah, right in that situation, Grave did a great job of not getting hit by any of Discordia's abilities. Great poke by Awesome Jake, pulling Shinto back. Viper still has a slow and a taunt. There's the dash. We'll see if he gets the taunt off. Maybe he used it already. Letteror in the back using his 2. The same situation that happened up by the Gold Fury. He tried to wrap around and grab a kill, but there's too much CC from What the Heck.
Yeah, right now, What the Heck, trying to follow up with their solo laner, who's diving pretty hard on the Kale here. Kale uses the dash already, but gets the hassle on the Viper, but Y-Try is able to take out the tree. Unfortunately, their Awesome Jake does not get the flash onto Kale, and is able to make it out alive. So he will be returning from that tower there, and it looks like Grave wants to invade the speed buff, but needs to be careful how long he stays, because you know, he does not want to get caught out there by 3 members of Draconis. Yeah,
Grave does not have his ultimate ability up quite yet, so he's ready to disengage. And even though there were 5 people versus the 3, looking at the health pools of that last fight towards the end, What the Heck knew that they needed to take off. They weren't quite healthy enough to siege that T2 in mid. They already won the fight. So far, it's been an 8-0 in the last 5 minutes of this game. So, well done by What the Heck so far.
Yeah, starting to get a little out of control, as we like to say here. 5k is the mark, and right now they're at 6k. So definitely starting to be a place where Draconis need to start making moves here, or else it's gonna be a little bit rough on the side of Draconis.
Yeah, Kale had great awareness in that last team fight. Even though Awesome Jake, the Sobek, was in the very back with Kale, Kale knew that he didn't have to be super worried about that and was focused on Rongyu on the Sylvanas, knowing that Sylvanas was going to try to get as much damage off on the backline for What the Heck. He ignored the Sobek and looked forward to where the carries were and followed up with Rongyu's ultimate. So I think that's a great awareness by Kale to look forward like that.
And definitely great synergy too. I mean, these players have been together for a very long time, at least since last Worlds, not this one, the one before that. And even still, they really know each other in and out, and it clearly shows here, but Fire Giant starting to get pulled by What the Heck. Needs to be careful though, because the 5-main grouping from Draconis is going to come out. They are going to decide to pull in Rongyu, who is going to be CC'd out of his ultimate for long enough for him to fall down. Then Awesome Jake is going to take the apple, and on the backhand side, Nemesis is there trying to commit onto Ullr.
Great job by Y-Try though, dashing in and using the ultimate to try to peel for his Ullr. And then great damage coming out from Y-Try as well as Grave to follow up with that. Again, the team synergy is fantastic. Kale is getting caught out a little bit, but the sprint is used by Shinto to make sure Kale can get away. This is, so far, it's a 2-0. Grave blinks in on Nesfor and picks up the kill on Nesfor. Plucked by Awesome Jake. Shinto just dashes away. No harm, no foul.
Right now, still aggression here on this right-hand side. Chica throws out the ultimate. It's going to get aggressed on here by Viper, it seems. But actually, looks like he doesn't want to take that tower for much longer. Fire Giant is still on the board here, and all ultimates are down. So, not sure how far they want to go for this, but Grave is very content to sit out here and poke out his enemies, trying to see if they'll come back in.
Yeah, he knows that they're not really looking to fight very much. They're about 3/4 HP, and Grave is level 20, almost full build. And Grave can just walk through. He's evading the speed buff now. He knows that his team is just going to be able to take out that Fire Giant. Great job by What the Heck pushing through that entire team fight.
Yes, and like we said, this is starting to be the late game sort of competition really pushing through here from What the Heck. That pressure that they got early really feeding into the pressure that they have now. And even though Dragonis has shown some forms of life here in their team fights, it's really starting to get out of hand. And what can Dragonis do to manage this Fire Giant team?
I think the only thing that Draconis can do, they should maybe start looking for an Emperor's Armor on the side of Rongi. Rongi going kind of a different build here. He has no aura items. Instead, he has a Magi's, a Wingblade, he has a Lotus Crown, which is pretty standard on Sylvanas with his heal, and then he opted to go for a Genji's instead of going for a Sovereignty or something like that. Really interesting for him not bringing the auras in from his team, or for his team.
Yeah, definitely a lot squishier than he would be if he chose to go the other direction. I mean, we see Viper picking up the Gauntlet of Thebes, which is not technically a necessity on supports anymore ever since it saw nerfs a couple patches ago, but because he did go for that tertiary aura item, it seems like he's so much tankier than the enemy Sylvanas.
So far, Viper has brought 4 auras into this game. He's got the Gauntlet of Thebes, which gives 10 physical and 10 magical protections, as well as the Sovereignty and the Heart Ward, which both give 20 protections. Physical protections 15 and 20 protections from the Heart Ward. And then he also has the Jade Emperor's Crown, which reduces the physical power by 30 of enemies around him. So that's 4 aura items on the side of What the Heck versus 0 aura items on the side of Draconis. The only aura item that they have is the Runic Shield coming out from Kukulkan.
I mean, technically Mystical Mail's an aura, but it just does damage. It doesn't really help your team out in any way other than that. But 5-man grouping here from What the Heck in the middle lane, trying to push down this middle Phoenix, and everyone except for Letter is ready for this, and Rongi blinks in, but there's no follow-up. Graves on his backhand side getting Kale, and that's going to be 9 kills for the jungler, but getting Nemesis ulted right after the Shinto ultimate too. Thorns have been popped, but right now it's so low here for the Toyi. Rage grabs another one, and they might even aggress on the Titan here. It depends. There's 3 enemies remaining. Close pull there for Sylvanas, and Awesome Jake actually does fall down there for going a little bit too ham in this fight.
Yeah, Awesome Jake looking for that pluck, but just slightly off the mark, ends up dashing into the fountain. Iceman and Viper and Y-Try, the 3 amigos in the backline, doing a great job focusing the Phoenix. What they came to the Titan for is to take out these Phoenix right now. So great job focusing the objective. We'll see if they can take out this dual lane Phoenix as well.
And there it goes. I mean, that was pretty much immediate. Grave still wants to go in here, trying to find his last hit on the lit error, and does find it. Grave is immortal, and actually the taunt comes in onto Shinto, and Iceman picks up Shinto, but they've got to be careful. Nestor is on the way, and Kale has already respawned. So it looks like the team of What the Heck is just going to back off, get this tier 2 right-hand tower maybe, and then go for the Phoenix, or even the end.
Just want to point out that Grave right now is 18-4 as this jungler, doing a great job from the early game, and then now transitioning into the late game, still focusing the carries from Draconis. There's not much that anyone on the side of Draconis can really do. Grave's just walking through them.
I mean, Grave is doing such a great job at recognizing how far he can go and his limits, and the character's limits more importantly. He has, like, we saw him go in that last fight onto Let Error. Very, very low in that engagement, but absolutely knew how much health he was going to get back from his 3rd ability, the Devour, and his 2, the Vampiric Bat. So between that and the knowledge of the character, he's been doing a great job this game.
Absolutely. And Iceman just wandering around in the jungle alone. He knows that they don't have any wards set up because of how much pressure they've been giving them. Letteror is actually, looks like he's DC'd from the match right now.
Well, that is going to be pretty unfortunate, but the game goes on, no pauses coming out from Dagronis, so maybe he'll reconnect quickly, or maybe that's just, maybe he's a little mad, I don't know.
Yeah, maybe that's just as much as he could take up. There's the pause coming out. So,
So
go
we
ahead.
will be taking a quick break here for just a couple of minutes, and hopefully Let Error will be on his way back. Hello everyone, and sorry about that. We had a bit of technical issues there, but coming back to it after that bit of a pause there, it seems that Let Error did not reconnect, so Dragonis unfortunately had to surrender. But that does leave What the Heck with a victory.
Yeah, What the Heck did a great job that game, focusing the people that they needed to focus, peeling for each other the entire time. As soon as Grave said, all right, that's enough, I got to come back, then Wytried did a good job getting up into his Raijin ultimate and trying to peel for him. Awesome Jake had a couple of plucks that were a little bit deep. That last pluck, he actually dove all the way into the Titan, but it ended up not mattering because of the lead they had at the very end of that game. Well played, What the Heck.
Absolutely, and they will be your champions for this week's Smite Prime 5 versus 5 battle for Asgard. But that's not all the Smite Prime that's left to do this week. Come back on Friday, we've got another battle for Asgard on the line, and even this Tuesday we might have something going on. We'll have to see. But again, Sunday is the day for the battle for Athens. So any of you EU players out there want to sign up again next week, we will be broadcasting it again one more time. So yeah, again, congratulations to What the Heck for their victory this week in the battle for Asgard. But that's going to be it for us for right now. So we'll see you guys later.
See ya.